Hi, everyone.
That was for my thumbnail.
Hi, everyone. I'm Tommy.
I'm Mackenzie.
And welcome back to Backstage Thoughts. We're both former cast members. We've spent a lot of time in each of the 4 Walt Disney World theme parks, and today we're going to be sharing some tips we've picked up throughout our time about how you can get through as many attractions as possible in one day without needing Genie Plus. In Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and EPCOT, it is 100% possible to do every single attraction in one day without paying for any Lightning Lane or Genie Plus reservations. In Magic Kingdom, it's more of a challenge. We've never done it personally, but we've also never tried it personally. But it might be possible to do every single attraction. It's just harder because there are more
many,
attractions. Yeah. But with these tips that we're about to give you, in the other 3 parks at least, and maybe in Magic Kingdom as well, you should be able to do everything. Now, we do want to say right off the bat that everyone enjoys the Disney parks differently, and any way that you want to go about enjoying the parks is totally fine, totally valid, totally up to you. This video is not going to have tips for people that like, taking their time, taking in the sights, eating at sit-down restaurants, doing some shopping, things like that. This video is purely for the person that wants to maximize their experience and do every single thing that the park has to offer attraction-wise. So once again, this is not some objective way to get the best experience at the parks. The way that each person, enjoys the parks is personalized. It's up to them. This is simply about doing the most amount of things in the least amount of time.
Sorry, I'm still thinking about how you said maximalize.
That's a word.
It sounded like it wasn't.
Maximize.
Maximalize?
Maximize. Hang on. Maximize is the word I was going for, but I feel like maximalize might also be a word.
No, I don't think it is.
Well, we're going to check. Yes, it is.
No.
Maximalize. To increase as a quality to the utmost. No. You definitely can't see that, but it's a word.
In the My Disney Experience app, there is a program called Genie that tries to give you the best way to go about your day. But from our experience, that is the worst way to go about the day. The timing is never good, and it just kind of sucks in general.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say it's the worst, but it's not helpful. The things we're going to tell you in this video are way more helpful in planning your day than some random AI bot software that Disney's trying out. So number 1's kind of a suggestion that has to happen way months in advance before your trip. And that is don't go during the peak times of year. Avoid Christmas time, Thanksgiving, Easter, President's Day, basically any time of year where both children and adults have off of school and off of work. These are the busiest times of year. You're going to have a very hard time doing everything in one day if you go during those times of year. Not saying it's impossible, but if this is your goal, you're probably going to want to choose maybe to go in May or September or August, mid to late January, early February, something like that.
Not the end of February, though. That's when all the dancers and the cheerleaders show up.
Now, if that's the only time you can go, of course, go for it, right? You're still going to have a good time. You're still going to enjoy the parks. This is simply just about the best ways to try to get everything done.
You want to be aware of the average wait times for each attraction, just so you know if you're getting into a line, if it's higher or lower than what the normal is for that certain attraction.
Yeah, before you go to the park, you want to have this idea in mind. You can either, check the My Disney Experience app for the first couple of days before you go, and get an idea of what the general wait times are. Or you can also use a website like Laughing Place, which tracks all of this. And you can kind of set your time period, your time frame, and it'll give you average wait times for each ride in each attraction. And again, this is just to kind of create a baseline so you have a mode of comparison once you're in the parks and you're looking at the live wait times in the parks. You can compare them to that average and see, oh, that's lower than normal, that's good, or that's higher than normal, that's bad.
You want to be aware of the wait times, but you don't want them to run your day. Obviously, it's ideal to wait a shorter amount of time than the average wait time, but there are other factors to consider.
So posted wait times, live wait times, the wait times they give you when you walk up to the attraction or in the app are not an exact science. I don't know how they work at every single attraction, but I know when I was at Pirates, there was some sort of system in place, but a lot of the time, changes were done manually as well. If we noticed the line was getting really long, we'd call up our coordinator and be like, hey, the line's getting pretty long, you want to bump it up to 50 or 60 minutes? And vice versa, right? If we noticed it getting really short and we were still at 50 or 60 minutes, we'd be like, hey, the line's much shorter now, bump it down to like, 20 or 30. It's really just kind of an educated guess. And because of this, the wait, the difference in wait between like 30 and 40 minutes is pretty negligible. Both a 30 or 40 minute wait could be 15 minutes in reality, or a 30 and 40 minute could be 45 in reality. It's just a guess, a range, right? It's not exact.
When a ride has a short wait time, it usually will attract more people from anywhere in the park to that particular attraction. So say you're in Frontierland, but Space Mountain has a 30-minute wait. By the time you get over to Tomorrowland, it's probably going to be back up to 60, 70 minutes because everyone else saw that and they're also flocking to that spot. On the other hand, if a posted wait time is higher, over time, less people will be coming to that attraction because of its high wait time, and the line will go down.
Because of these factors, and because of a factor we are going to talk about momentarily, it's not a good idea to be a slave to wait times. You don't want to be bouncing all over the place and just trying to go from shortest wait time to shortest wait time. The posted wait times are just not reliable enough for this to be an effective strategy. In addition to everything we just talked about, the other reason you don't want to be kind of running back and forth across the park chasing wait times is because you don't really take into account how much time you spend walking, and it is a lot more than you think. Wait times are only one aspect of how long, an attraction takes. There's also the length of the attraction itself, but then there's also the amount of time it takes you to get there from where you are, and then also the amount of time it takes you to get to wherever you're going next. And considering the crowds at a lot of these parks, you're not exactly running from attraction to attraction. You're, topping out at 2 or 3 miles an hour. The most effective and consistent way to save time is to do attractions that are close together. This will save you time regardless of posted wait times, because you're always saving time if you are walking less.
Back to the Space Mountain example, if you walk from Frontierland all the way over to Tomorrowland and you get on the ride and you save 10 minutes of what the average wait time is, that's great. But you just walked all the way from Frontierland to Tomorrowland. That walk alone probably took you more than 10 minutes. So did you really save any time? And that can cause issues if you've already done the attractions in Tomorrowland or you're planning to do more attractions in Frontierland. Then you would have to walk all the way back over. And that's another 10 plus minutes on your day.
The perfect strategy is to take wait times into account, posted wait times into account, but only when they are close in proximity to where you are. So, for example, if you are in Tomorrowland and you're trying to decide whether to do Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin next or Space Mountain next, do whichever one has the lowest wait time relative to the average. You're saving some time on posted wait times versus what the average posted wait time is, and you're also saving time by not running all over the place.
When a Disney park opens for the day, most people are rushing to the most popular attraction. However, if you go to the second most popular attraction, you could probably get 1 or 2 rides in before all of those people are done on the first ride.
If you are at the head of the pack and you are going to be one of the first few people in line for that big ticket attraction, that most popular attraction, then okay, yeah, go for it. But if you're not at the head of the pack, you're going to end up waiting anyway because everyone else is also rushing there. While everyone else is occupied with that one big attraction, you can get the second most popular and maybe even the third most popular attraction done with like a very minimal wait.
For example, if you're going to Hollywood Studios, while everyone else is rushing to Rise of Resistance, you could go to Toy Story Land or Sunset Boulevard. In Toy Story Land, you could get Slinky Dog Dash and maybe even Toy Story Mania done with little to no wait. And on Sunset Boulevard, you can do Rock and Roller Coaster or Tower of Terror.
Disney parks do not immediately shut down all the attractions at closing time. Instead, what they do is they close the lines. So if you're already in line for an attraction when the park closes, you're not going to get kicked out. You will be able to ride that attraction or experience that attraction. And because of this, we recommend that you save the most popular attraction, the busiest attraction, the attraction with the longest average wait time for last. As long as you get in line before the park closes, it doesn't matter how long the wait time is. You essentially have an infinite amount of time left. However long that line takes, that's how much time you have left before you have to leave the park. So as long as you get in that line, you are good to go. Additionally, lines do tend to get a little bit shorter towards the end of the day once the kids get tired and cranky and they want to go home or back to the hotel room. So your wait probably won't be that long anyway.
Some of the attractions, such as live shows, have show times that are posted every day that you need to be aware of in order to do these attractions. The ideal strategy is to be in that area of the park doing other attractions at the time that the show is supposed to start. Most shows can have a wait time of 0 if you time it well.
It is also important to pay attention to these show times because there are only a limited number of shows. If you miss that last show time, you are out of luck. So I'm not really even sure this needs to be said, but if you are planning on doing every single attraction, if you're planning on being time efficient, you aren't going to have time to eat at any table service restaurants. Again, nothing against table service restaurants. Disney has some very good ones that are worth doing, just not if this is your game plan. Most quick service restaurants have mobile ordering as an option, which you can do through the My Disney Experience app. And we definitely recommend doing this. You can place a mobile order while you're in line for a ride, for example, and then once you get off that ride and you start walking over towards that restaurant, you can click the button that says, "I'm here, prepare my order." I guess technically you're lying, but that's okay. And then if you time it right, by the time you get there, your food will be ready to go, and you can just grab it, eat, and get out of there.
When trying to figure out where to mobile order your food from, you want to take into consideration where you are in the park. You don't want to be running all the way across the park to pick up your food.
Try to pick a restaurant that is either where you are right now or where you're planning on going next.
There are also some shows such as like parades, like the Beauty and the Beast show in Hollywood Studios that you can bring food into. That way you're eating and you're doing an attraction all at the same time.
If you really want to maximize or maximalize the amount of time that you're able to save, you can bring your own food into the park. This will save you a little bit of money as well. I've personally never done it. You've never done it, right? It is allowed. They let you bring in any food that you want. So if you do want to do that, it's an option, and it would save you some time. So those are our main tips that apply to just about everyone. We also have some additional cheat codes that apply to very specific people. If you are staying at a deluxe resort, you have access to extended evening hours, I believe that's what they're called, where I think once a week there's a certain day of the week that a certain park is open 2 hours later. I don't know the exact days or times because I don't stay at deluxe resorts. I don't have that money. But if you do, you can definitely take advantage of those extra 2 hours. Not only do you have extra time in the parks are empty. I used to work them, so I know. Magic Kingdom from 11 to 1 on, I think it was Tuesdays or Wednesdays, empty. No one there. So you should have pretty much no wait times at all for those 2 hours. Definitely a huge advantage. And then also, if you have friends that are cast members, they might be willing to let you in through the Lightning Lane, even if you don't have a Lightning Lane reservation. Again, it's another little cheat code there. So we've been giving a lot of Hollywood Studios related examples, and I don't think that was really intentional when we were planning this, but I think we just have Hollywood Studios on the brain because we did this with Hollywood Studios. We did every attraction in one day back in April of 2022. And now we're going to kind of walk you through our day as an example to kind of prove to you that, yeah, this is 100% doable without Genie Plus, without Lightning Lane. So a couple of things to mention before we get into this. One, we identified Tower of Terror as the longest wait rather than Rise of the Resistance. And the reason for that was, at the time, it was undergoing maintenance on half of it, so it was only operating at half capacity. Only one of the two kind of sides of the ride were running at a time so that they could work on the other side. So because of this, wait times were consistently like 90 to 120 minutes or higher.
Also, at this time, Fantasmic was not back yet, so that is not one of the attractions we included, obviously.
Now, we weren't planning on making this video when we did this. We didn't even have the thought of doing a YouTube channel when we did this. However, we did have a checklist that we used on Google Docs, and after we did each attraction, we checked it off. And Google Docs kind of saves your edit history. It's not perfect. We didn't always check off the boxes right after we did it. Sometimes we forgot and we checked it off later. And Google Docs doesn't save every individual change every time, I think, because there's a couple of things that are a little bit weird in there. So it's not a perfect account of what we did and when we did it, but we are able to kind of see our general route, and we do have a general idea of the different times that things happened. We also don't know when or where exactly we had lunch and dinner, but we did have 2 meals in there at some point. So here we go. Let's walk you through our day at Hollywood Studios on April 30th, 2022.
We arrived at the park at 9:15, which was about 15 minutes after the park opened, and we headed to Toy Story Land to do Slinky Dog Dash, and we were done with that by about 9:35.
At this point, we noticed that Rise of the Resistance still had a low wait, likely due to everyone flocking to Tower of Terror in the beginning, so we decided to head over there. We got Rise of the Resistance done by 11.
After that, we did Millennium Falcon and headed back over to Toy Story Land to do Alien Swirling Saucers, and we were done by 12.
Next, we headed over to Muppet Vision. Then we hit Star Tours. I think somewhere around here we had lunch at Backlot Express, but I'm not 100% certain about that. And then after Star Tours, we did the Vacation Fun short video thing that they have in that area.
Then we headed over and did Beauty and the Beast live on stage. I think we did, I want to say the
3 o'clock?
3 o'clock show.
That's
yes.
what I think too, yeah.
And then we did Indiana Jones, the stage show that they have.
Then we did Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and at this point, it is 4:30.
Then we did Walt Disney Presents One Man's Dream, and headed back to Toy Story Land to do Toy Story Mania.
After Toy Story Mania, we kind of headed back west, hit Frozen Sing-Along, which is a show that has specific show times, and we were done with that by 7 o'clock.
Then we went to Lightning McQueen's Racing Academy and Rock and Roller Coaster. We were done with both of those by 8:40.
We were in line for Tower of Terror by 8:45. The park closed at 9, and we were off of Tower of Terror and done with every attraction in Hollywood Studios by 9:45. Our routing here wasn't perfect. It was good, and obviously it was good enough, right? We got through everything. It wasn't perfect. It could have been better. And we were kind of learning these tips that we gave you as we did this. We didn't have all of these ideas in mind right away going into it. These are things we picked up as we went. We did have some planning go into it. We were paying attention to show times. We knew about, average wait times. We were comparing average wait times. I think the biggest idea about, doing things close to each other and saving time on walking was something we learned throughout the day. But even without doing everything perfectly, we were still able to get to everything. We didn't pay for any Genie Plus, we didn't pay for any Lightning Lane, and we did every single attraction in the park. So it is absolutely 100% doable for you to do that as well. Save your money, don't pay for Genie Plus, don't pay for Lightning Lane. And that does it for us. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. If you found this to be helpful, leave a like, leave a comment. We read all the comments, of course. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. If you have any of your own tips, put those in the comments as well. If you leave a really good tip that, is genius and it's something we didn't think of, we'll definitely pin that so everyone else can see it as well. Thank you guys so much. We will see you in the next one. If you hop in line...
I knew it was coming. I tried to tell you.
Why wouldn't you just say, I'm going to burp?
I thought you needed to stop.
Why would I know that?